Hello and welcome to the Vlogging Pod. Today we are joined by romance, paranormal, apocalyptic, and fantasy author Mireille Chester. Welcome to the I know you're like the second or third person who's laughed when I've done that, but I got to give props where props are deserved. Okay. So I have a few questions. I try to do some research based on what I find about you on the internet. So just so you know, and also just so the audience knows, I don't give you these questions in advance. So I kind of like for it just to kind of go a little natural between us. Now, I do have some people that are coming to the room, but they're a little behind. So just so you know. So if they pop in there, you won't be too confused. Okay. So when I was looking you up, you were born in Ontario, Canada, correct?
That's right. Yeah, I was born in Ottawa.
Ottawa. Okay.
And we moved here when I was moved to Saskatchewan when I was 8 years old.
Oh,
So I've
okay.
actually lived in Saskatchewan pretty much my whole life.
Now, is that the province that you're in now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Now, I did some research and looked around, took a count, and so you tell me. At first, I thought I had 16 books for you. However, in February I noticed that you did an interview, and you had said that you had published 14. So which is correct? 14 or 16 books?
It's actually 16.
16. Okay.
Yeah, I went kind of off the top of my head when she asked me the question, and I got it wrong.
Now, see, that is just a delightful question to ask you because I went through all your books and I'm counting and I'm like, well, maybe I'm wrong, and so I made a note and I was like, I'm just gonna ask and I'm just gonna put that right out there. Now,
No, I was wrong.
now technically, you have a little bit more than 16 listings because you have 2 box sets as well. So technically, it would be 18 if you wanted to get technical.
Right.
Okay. Just saying. Just trying to put my props out there that I do my research. Okay.
Well, and in a couple of weeks, it will actually be 17 that will be out. Because I've got a new one coming out in August, on the 5th of August.
On the 5th of August?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So when I was doing my research, see how I'm pushing that out there again? What I found most interesting was your analogy on villains and heroes. You have a quote. You say, "No hero is perfect, and that all villains are burdened with a tiny shred of humanity." Now, how did this comparison come about in your writing?
I guess when I read books, I found that some authors try to make everyone either too good or too evil.
Mm-hmm.
And I just found, like, in real life, that's not how it works, right? Like, I know very good people and I know some not so good people, but everyone, it kind of sways either way, I guess. And so I try to put that in my writing when I do it.
Okay. So you want to say that, and let me know if I'm correct, because I don't want to put words in your mouth. You basically want to say there's good and evil to every person?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and like it's not necessarily evil, I guess, like the heroes and stuff. It's just that even like they're human, right? Or even if they're not human, let's say they're paranormal, they're still beings that have concerns for themselves before other people or whatever. So there's always something that might pop up in my stories where they kind of have like an internal dialogue where they need to figure out how they're going to go about something and still be the good guy.
Okay. All right. I can follow along with that. Welcome, new members to the room. Thank you so much for coming in, guys. Um, so in 2011, I don't know if you know this. You may have, because oh wait, I've lost my timer here. All right, we're gonna wing it on the timer. I have to keep track of my time. I must have pushed something when I wasn't messing with something. In 2011, I had the privilege to purchase your book called Crossover from the book series that was introduced to me personally to you as an author. For our listeners to refamiliarize us to this book and the series, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay, so Crossover is book one of the Chosen One trilogy. It was my first book I've ever published.
Mm-hmm.
I think I met you on Twitter, is how we ended up meeting.
Okay.
So with that story, it's about a girl from here who finds out she's actually from like a parallel dimension, and it she finds out by accidentally crossing over into this other world
Mm-hmm.
where there are shapeshifters and dragons and magic, and she finds out that she is meant to save this world, but she has no idea how she's supposed to do it. And so there's three books. It started out as one,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just kept going. And so yeah, so that's pretty much the basis of what that one is about.
Now, is this series still open? I mean, are you building on it? Are you going to do another book, or has it been completed?
The series, the trilogy is done, but I
Okay.
do have another series. It's called the Sage Den Pack, and it kind of follows the characters after all is said and done. So there's two books in that one right now, and I'm working on a third. And
Okay.
I also have a few shorter stories that are also set in that world,
Oh, okay.
which is
Now, would you be surprised if I told you that I had done a review on your book?
you know what, I vaguely remember you doing a review, but I don't remember exactly what it said. Am I scared? Should I be scared?
I actually, no, it wasn't a bad. I actually looked on Amazon for it and I could not find it. And and I was going to read it and I didn't pull it up and I'm looking for it at the last minute here. But actually I had copied and pasted because I wanted to put it in the docs. And I thought I had it up here. I might not. Now I have one titled you, but I think this is just your bio. Anyways, I had done a review. And actually, I didn't just do one. I did two. Because I read both both the first and the second crossover, and then it's hold on a minute. I've got it written here. If I can read my writing. No, I don't have it up now. I'm disappointed in myself. I should have. That should have been one of my preps. I am so sorry. I was going to read you the review. Now I feel like I'm even letting myself down here a little bit because I actually was going to read that to you. I'm very sorry about that. And I can't. You ever notice that? That's when you're looking for something, that's what you cannot find. Anyways, so let's move this along. My apologies for that. I had it, and I actually, because I did my research yesterday, and I actually found that, and I actually copied and pasted it and put it aside for this particular moment. Yeah, typical. This is a typical Eri move. Anyways, moving right along. So I need to stop a second and see, and I was going to even do the promo for that, because I done the review, and I was going to lead up to that because today is your birthday. Yes?
It is, yes. It is my birthday
how honored are we to have... Go ahead.
So I'm 42 today. So
42. Oh, I'm still way older. See what you got to look forward to? You write documents out and you lose them in the drop of the hat.
Fantastic.
Let's just hope it's not a 40,000 or 60,000 word book that you lose, because then that would just bite.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. I'm still looking, and I'm just really upset by that, because I actually found it. My computers have died a few times, and I've transferred files, so it took me a while to find it on my computer outside of the studio here. And I found it, and I had copied and pasted it and put it in the doc, and I thought I had saved it. So I am very disappointed at myself right now. Very. So anyways, you do have other books in that series, correct? You were saying.
Yeah. So it's not really the same series. It follows the same characters or different characters from that main series, but they're all set in the same world and they're all kind of connected.
Okay. All right. Okay, so to celebrate your birthday a little bit, you have a new release, yes?
Yes. I have one coming out in August. But right now, what I'm doing for my birthday is I have a sale going on Amazon where I have got 5 books up for free.
Oh.
And I also have one going on. It's the summer winter sale on Smashwords. So there's a few up there that are up for free too, the ones that aren't on Amazon. So.
Okay. Now, the one I'm talking about, I did assume that it was a new release because I hadn't remembered it or seen it. Displaced, and it's part of the
Displaced.
I'm sorry, it's part of the Sage Den series.
Yeah, the Sage Den Pack series. So that is the first book that follows the Chosen One trilogy.
Okay. All right, tell us a little bit about
that one.
Go ahead.
So that one there, it follows Kendall. You meet him in the trilogy. And it's after the big war, and everyone's trying to just get back to life. And so it's about 5 years afterwards. And what is funny about this book is that Hayden, who is the main character in the trilogy, when she finds out that she has magic, she cannot master a displacement spell to save her life. And so in this book, what happens is Kendall goes to her house so she can practice, and she actually displaces him to a whole other continent. And this is his story of what happens to him and how he tries to get home and saves an orphan. And I think it's pretty fun.
Okay, so you're talking, Kendall is who we're following first, but then Hayden is your main character?
Well, Hayden is the main character in the trilogy. So it starts off with Kendall going to Hayden's house, and then after that, it follows Kendall and his antics trying to get back home.
Nice. And you know what I just found? I just found that review. See? Diligence does happen. All right. So let me backtrack just a little bit then. And we were talking about crossover. And the next book we said was The Journey, yes? Okay, so what I had done, I'd read this book. We actually met, and I think at first we had shared books, I believe. Did I lose you? Did I lose you?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, there you are.
Your dear heart.
Okay, so
Am I still on?
No, you're there. You're there, hon. I fell in love with the book so much. You know, I went back and bought them.
Oh, really?
Yes, I did. I didn't know there was a third one, so I need to go back and buy the third. But I did love it so much that I actually went back and bought them after you gifted them to me. just so I could have them. I'm really crazy like that. I like the paperbacks. I like the ebooks. If I enjoy something, I want all of it. So just getting back to that, this is what I had wrote. I said, Mireille Chester immediately entranced me into the mystical land that lay a heartbeat away from our own. Truly a book in which I found that I could not put down. If action and romance move you as much as they do myself, then this is the series for you. If we didn't have the delay in audio, that would have been a lot more impact on the It's all right. It's all right. This is a work and play. Okay, so we talked about your displaced. We've got like a minute or so left. Backtrack me a little bit to the beginning of displaced. I mean, for what you said about Kendall and Hayden, is that the second book that you have right now, that the cover that I have out?
Sorry, I think you kind of cut out.
Okay, when you're talking displaced, what you told us about Hayden and Kendall. Now, is that from the second book in this series, or is that from the entirety of the series, what you told us?
That is at the beginning of Displaced, happens at the end of Destiny, which is the third book in the first Colondane series.
Okay. So how do you introduce us in this latest book, The Displaced the Second? How do you take us from one place to the next? How do you introduce this book?
Oh, okay. She well, it's just he goes over to her house and they start working on her displacement spell. So really, he just starts off, he's laying in his meadow by the creek relaxing, trying to forget about the whole war. Mm-hmm. And his friend Bryce, who's also a part of their pack, comes and says that they'll go and help Hayden with her spells. And then he finds himself in Distendal and then almost gets eaten by the first plant that he runs into.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of the start of that book. And yeah.
So that just pulls right into action as you're going into it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I think we have a little bit of lag is what's going on. And I'm sorry to that for all our listeners. So let me ask you, since we're at our last few minutes of the podcast, actually we're a little bit over, but that's fine because I was looking for my reviews, and so I made us go over a little bit. What would you like your readers... I know, you're giggling. That's because you know me too well. I'm just saying. Put that out there. What would you like your readers to take away from about this interview, about yourself?
What could they take away from this interview? Just that I am just a fun person who likes to write fun books, and I love meeting up with people on social media, so anybody who wants to follow and be friends, that's awesome. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, I think...
I'm really good at these things.
That's fine. I actually, you know what? This is what I think makes these type of interviews, these podcasts, because it's actually as if we're just talking on the phone. It makes it a lot more unique. You know what I'm saying? As we can grow as the conversation grows. Yes. So I value you so much for being on the podcast today. You have been a very long friend to me. I appreciate you so much, and I want to thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much, listeners. It was great having you. Please tune in this coming Thursday. We will have another podcast. Once again, thank you for coming today. Have a great one. Bye-bye for now.